It was one of the most talked about shows for the first part of 2021. So now I'm going to share my final thoughts on WandaVision. This is Chris Talks. So I was originally going to do a 30-second review that kind of encapsulated my thoughts on WandaVision, but I decided, I really got into this show. I feel it deserves a little more time than just 30 seconds, so a new episode of Chris Talks is born. So essentially what I want to do is talk about my overall thoughts on WandaVision, what I really liked, what I really didn't, and how I think the critical and commercial response of this show is going to impact future MCU series on Disney+. So first of all, did I like the show? Absolutely. I thought it was a lot of fun. It was weird. It was quirky. It had some terrific characters. The thing I liked the most is it basically took a whole bunch of characters that were kind of side characters in the MCU and really built them out. Wanda and Vision were in, Age of Ultron and then Endgame, but they didn't have a whole lot to them. This show, especially with Wanda, made her a very important part of the MCU, but also a very interesting character. And same with Vision, even though we discovered some things about Vision, it was still really cool to see him kind of come out of his shell. Now, I should have done this at the beginning of the video, but before I talk any further, we're going to do a spoiler warning because I'm going to go into details about the series as a whole. So if you have not watched all of WandaVision and plan on doing so, stop the video here, take a look, watch the series, come back, and should see my thoughts. Is everybody gone? They're gone? Okay, good. Now let's get to spoiler stuff. So, I really enjoyed it. I thought the big reveal with Vision, how he was basically just a creation of the Hex, how he basically couldn't leave, was interesting. It was basically Wanda's envisionment of Vision, her embodiment of Vision, what she thought Vision was. And the whole concept of the Hex, how Wanda basically created it in her grief. She lost so much during Infinity War. Vision was kind of the one thing she had to cling on to, and then he died in such a horrific way in front of her. So she just couldn't take it, and because of all her power, she kind of accidentally created this alternate world where she could kind of live out her favorite sitcoms and have a happy life with Vision and have 2 kids, and everything was fine and dandy, except the fact that things weren't fine and dandy, and she was doing some stuff by accident, kind of, that she didn't intend. But I thought it was a great show. I love the sitcom angle. I thought that was going to be kind of strange, the fact that, it's an MCU show, but it's basically trying to model itself after classic sitcoms. It worked, though, and I think the sitcom episodes were a lot of fun and kind of the bread and butter of the series. Obviously, we did get some more MCU-like episodes, especially towards the end of the run, but I thought the sitcom episodes were really kind of what brought the show together, and it was fun going from decade to decade just to see, what show are they going to be, parroting next. I thought that was really fun. I love the fact that they brought Darcy and Jimmy Woo into this series, because again, those were 2 side characters. They didn't get a whole lot of screen time or development in their previous outings. Of course, Jimmy Woo was from Ant-Man and the Wasp, and Darcy was last seen in Thor: The Dark World. So it was nice to see them come back in a much more expanded role in this series, and I really hope that they show up in more of the MCU Disney Plus series, because they're great characters. I do think they were kind of underutilized in the series finale for WandaVision, but hopefully we'll be able to see more of them in future episodes and future, series. But yeah, I thought the show was great. One of my favorite things about it was the fact that it kind of brought back that mentality of something to talk about. Every week, the show just kept bringing up questions. And there were questions that weren't answered. A lot of them weren't answered till right at the very end. But every episode, it's like, oh, what does that mean? What is that about? Especially like the commercials. Everyone was curious about, okay, what does this commercial stand for? And of course, we discovered they were all kind of manifestations of some of the biggest traumatic moments in Wanda's life. But it was kind of interesting to see how those turned out, how like kind of eerie and strange they were. But the show was just so quirky. It brought up tons of questions, brought up a lot of interesting theories. A lot of the theories were incorrect. I still think the Marvel was kind of smart, but also it was an interesting move to make this big deal about Evan Peters showing up as Quicksilver, only to essentially end that whole plot line with a dick joke. Good job, Marvel. Good job. That was pretty funny. But, you know, I really liked it. I thought it was good. I know some people kind of criticized the finale because it wasn't as amazing as people expected it to be, and I think part of that is the expectations just skyrocketed because of how popular the show became. So everyone had all these theories about, oh, Doctor Strange is going to show up and this character's going to show up. I'm like, it was never promised. You just thought that. I thought what they delivered was great. It was powerful. It was emotional. It hit all the right notes. And I definitely think it's going to lead into Wanda's future appearances in other MCU movies, including Spider-Man No Way Home and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So it's going to be interesting to see how her character continues to evolve while appearing in those other films. I think it's going to be really interesting. Overall, I really liked the show. I thought it was great. It was funny. It was clever. It had tons of references. Some episodes may have been stronger than others, and obviously there were some plot lines that I feel, you know, some people may not have liked. I didn't mind anything in the show. I thought, you know, there were some episodes that weren't as good as others, but I still enjoyed it. I enjoyed the sitcom elements. I enjoyed bringing these kind of lesser known characters into more prominent roles. I also enjoyed a lot of the new characters. Monica Rambeau was a great character. I wish she had more to do in the final episode than she did, but I think that's probably my biggest complaint, is that the final episode kind of glossed over a number of characters. Poor Darcy had one line and one appearance and then vanished before anything else happened. So I kind of wish they had stronger send-offs in the episode than they did. Obviously the show was, the finale was obviously going to be about Wanda and Vision, but it would have been nice to see these characters get a little more screen time and a little more presence, considering how important they were for the duration of the show. But yeah, I enjoyed WandaVision a lot. I thought it was fun. I enjoyed talking about it with people and sharing different theories week to week. I definitely think the combination of that and The Mandalorian proves that Disney Plus is going to be a very viable streaming service for the long haul. And I'm very excited in 2 weeks to start watching Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I think that's going to be a really fun show. Of course, once that show is over, I will probably do another one of these just to share my overall thoughts on that. And who knows? I mean, if people want, maybe I'll share some theories as to what's going on, or like mini reviews of episodes. If you want to see that, leave that in the comments. And maybe I'll do like a episode by episode review as they come out and share kind of my thoughts. So we'll see. Anyway, that's gonna do it for this episode of Chris Talks. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. New videos on this channel will air 4 days a week, so be sure to hit that subscribe button, click that notification bell, that way you know when new videos drop. And I will see you on the next episode of Chris Talks. Bye bye.